From the years of like 21 to 25, I was lost. I was just so unstable. I'd get fired from every single job. I was rebelling. I was going out. Nothing was working for me. I said, you two need to create a YouTube channel. Like, shut up, it's shit. People are too impatient. We live in a very fast world. Compounding effect is the most powerful thing. Having delayed gratification, expecting nothing, and then bam. I don't particularly want to get smashed and talk to girls, and that's when you're younger, that's like, what do you want to do, right? You don't want to be the last guy on the dance floor.
What age did you retire from the dance floor, Josh? I'm gone, mate. I'm done.
I felt like I had to be man of the house when I was a tiny little skinny kid, and that was one of the reasons that I started going to the gym originally. I've got a underlying issue, what I did, about proving people wrong to get to my success. I think there was a lot of anger that came from that, but I directed it usefully. For you to sign 20 to 50 clients throughout the month, whether it's slow ticket or high ticket, shouldn't be too much of an issue if you've got good DM script, you provide value, and then whether you're closing them on a call or you've got a good product to sell them for low ticket. The main blockage of that is self-belief, because people don't think that they can do that. They promote the bad things to keep you in fear. There's a whole fucking system around it. Pretty happy in my own little world, doing what I want, trying to help as many people.
If you had to check out the world tomorrow and you could just leave one single piece of advice, what would you leave for? Josh Mooney, we are here. We're on, mate.
Hi, mate. Thank you for having me.
Mate, I've been wanting to do this conversation with you for a while because obviously with your whole journey, so to speak, and I hate the word journey, but essentially you've gone from the reality TV thing, which I know you don't like being referred to as, to proper business and doing and pursuing this entrepreneurial career that's obviously smashed it for you with Elevate and everything you're doing with that. Kind of, let's just take it way back for the people that don't know you. Obviously, give me a bit of an insight into how you came into even coming into the reality TV stuff.
Dude, I was, how old was I? About 21. I was just always a bit of a rogue growing up. Like, I never really wanted to work for anyone else, and I was like, got fired from every job that I had, bro. And then I was always got out socializing. I went to university. I was that guy who didn't really do much at university, but I was out all the time, and I was training. There were two things I like doing, like networking and going to the gym. And it got to a point when I was like, I was 21, and one of my now really good friends, Phil Savage, lives in Marbella. Like, he runs all the nights there, and he just contacted me on Facebook off my profile picture, obviously thirst trap, it was like topless. And he's just like, do you want a job? And I was like, where? Spain, Marbella. Do you want to have a job out there? And then that went into like a world where I got kind of well known. It's a very like social place, you know, all the it people go there, so to speak, I guess, at the time anyway. And then I kind of got scouted to go on X on the beach. It makes you cringe whenever I say that. It wasn't even called that then. They literally messaged me saying, do you want to go on a TV show? It's called Summer of Love. You're going to go into a villa with a load of girls in Spain. I was like, I've got nothing to lose. Like, I was a mediocre PT. I didn't really have like anyone to tell me what to do. I was like, fuck it, let's do it. And I went in, had 5 ex-girlfriends, and they were all there. And then that's kind of how it all began. But like, I guess what I was saying earlier, I didn't have any direction at all at that point. And I feel like I was just like, oh, it's going to boost my audience, and then I can try and leverage that audience. And back then it was Twitter. It was not like IG. My Twitter followers were flying up during that time, and Facebook as well. But yeah, that was the start, bro.
Talk to me about how you felt during that time, because I know we were talking about that before the podcast even started, about how you felt during that time.
Oh, bro, I was, from the years of like 21 to 25, 26, I was lost. I haven't got a dad, but my mum, like, she loves me now. I'm a favourite child, but she hated me, bro. I was trying, you know, as a parent, like, you want to have stability with your children, and I was just so unstable. I'd get fired from every single job. I was rebelling. I was going out, and I just, nothing was working for me. Like, we were having arguments all the time, and I was living at home for so long. And a lot of people don't even know that. Like, I didn't have a pot to piss in until like I was like 27, kind of get my life together. But that back then, I guess there was not information that we have nowadays. You've got all these kids that can learn courses and go on mentorships and do very well very quick from their bedrooms. But back then, you had nothing in your bedroom back then. It was just a PlayStation.
So it must have been quite hard then to like go through this thing where you get this status where everyone knows who you are, so they presume you're making money and making all this cash, but then you don't have a pot to piss in, so to speak.
Dude, honestly, like I remember being on X on the Beach, and towards the end of the show, you're all hyped up, like we're gonna finish, like you thought we were gonna be fucking famous, and I remember saying we're all gonna go to Vegas. I couldn't afford a fucking flight to Vegas, and like it happened. Like did a few shows after that because it was just like an easy option to do, and you'd gain followers, you'd gain attention. And I think one of the main things that I can pat myself on the back for is I always went back to training, PTing, and then creating my online training. Whether I was doing PAs or going on shows or not, I was never too proud to go back to what my bread and butter was, essentially. And I think a lot of people get that wrong. So I go on these TV shows, smoke is blown right up their arse, and they are too scared to go back to their day-to-day or whatever their passion was. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I did consistently, I guess. And that's why I guess I was always destined to go down the fitness route and do what I'm doing today. But there was a period in my life where I had shiny object syndrome, and I was just like, oh, TV show, let's do a quick payout, get some attention, all that kind of stuff. But it wasn't necessarily the right thing. Yes, it opened doors, gave me an audience, but looking back, could I have done it better? Yes.
What would your advice be then to people that are trying to pursue this quick burst of fame, this, whether it be like the girls that do OnlyFans and don't think about the longevity of how that's going to work out for them, whether it's the guys and the girls that go on reality TV? What would your advice be to those people?
It sounds so cliche and probably a bit condescending, but like listen to people who have more experience than your elders, because if I was 23, 24 and someone told me to reverse engineer of where I am today and how I'd get there, it wouldn't have been the path that I've taken. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So like if you want to earn lots of money, but if you realize selling your body is going to be the way you're going to do it, by the time you've got kids and your kids are getting teased at school because their other kids are, do you know what I mean, teasing them because you've seen your mom naked, you will fucking want to like slap yourself. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like you need to reverse engineer of where you want to be and work backwards.
So if you were to look at your journey now, obviously you're in your 30s, right?
35, yeah.
Yeah, so same age as me. So if you were to reverse engineer it now, how would you have done it compared to how you did do it?
How Big Mike did it. As I was speaking the other day, like he stuck. YouTube is the most powerful platform on the planet, no doubt, and that goes into every other platform. It's probably only one that doesn't go the other way. If you have IG, TikTok, it doesn't go to YouTube. It's a different type of audience, very loyal audience, and provides a lot of value. So for someone to build a platform around that, you're creating your own TV show, your own fame, your own attention. But obviously that's a compounding effect. You need to be patient with it. And if I could look back and start again to do that, do you know what? I remember, so me and Ross went on it together, the show, and our manager said, you two need to create a YouTube channel. This was like 21, and we were like, shut up, it's shit. We would have literally been in like Jake and Logan Paul if we took that advice. It would have worked. It would have been amazing. But like, I think that is honestly the most powerful way to grow your own, audience and success off the back of it.
Mate, I feel the same with YouTube. I was looking at your YouTube today. Obviously, you do some great vlogs and stuff, but it's like me and you, we're so late to the game, aren't we, on YouTube? But we're still having a go. We're still putting in the effort. And I think I saw today you're like at about 8 to 10k subs, aren't you? About something like that. I'm
so I'll do a video, like I'll do 2, and then I'll do like a 6-month break, and I won't do anything again because I'm getting so much traction off other avenues that I use. But if I had that as well, it would be incredible, because you want to leverage your audience. But we're not late to the game, because that won't go anywhere. I don't believe anyway. Look at Will Brown, for example. Like he started it, and in like 2 months gained 50,000 subscribers. But it's purely on how much value you can give to your audience. Yeah,
I think with Will as well, he's got all the credibility from selling this education company and from doing the millions online that he's done. It's like, so it comes. I suppose what I've noticed with podcasts, I've seen some podcasts, they'll just get one specific guest and it will just blow them up to 100k overnight. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you can't, when you're in this game, you got to say when you start the game, whether it's podcasting or whether it's fitness like what you're doing, you have to play the game for 10 years from the start. You can't be looking at what other people are getting these lucky breaks and thinking, I want that and I'm going to stop because I've not got it. So it's hard to see other people quote unquote winning faster and not want it yourself. But you've got to understand there is a process, and the process can't be negated.
I think people underestimate the compounding effect. I'm currently reading The Psychology of Money at the moment. There's a great chapter in there about that. People are too impatient. We live in a very fast world, but the compounding effect is the most powerful thing. Investing early in, just doing it, the reps over and over again, and having delayed gratification, expecting nothing, and then bam. Look at Chris Williamson, like we said earlier.
Yeah,
doing it for 7 years. He had people didn't know who he was for 5 of those maybe.
Yeah,
and then bam, last 2 years he just smashed it.
Chris is one of the most. He's just one of the most biggest workers in podcasting, in my opinion. Because one, he's a natural guy. He's not cheated. He's not cheated the game like some of the other podcasters that are at his level and beyond in terms of like the way that they've got there. He's done it completely naturally, and his curve and his growth, his trajectory has just gone like that.
Yeah,
and he's a nice guy too. So he deserves everything that he gets.
Everything, bro.
In all essence, I know you said that you read The Psychology of Money, which is by Morgan. Try to think who wrote that book. Morgan.
I don't even know who wrote it. I'm just reading it.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm mentioning that is because it's the inputs that you're putting into your life right now in terms of like the books that you're reading and The Psychology of Money just shows me how far you must have had to come, because I guarantee you the inputs that you're putting in now are different to the ones that you're putting in, say, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. How much of those inputs changed your reality in terms of how much money you're earning and what's going on in your life as well?
What, from back in the day?
Yeah. Just from like the inputs that you're putting in. Now you're in the Dubai scene. Now you're in this entrepreneurship bubble. Like what the inputs have changed, haven't they? Like you're reading The Psychology of Money.
My what I value more has changed, I guess. Like, my health for one. Do you know what I mean? I don't particularly want to go out and get smashed and talk to girls, and that's when you're younger. That's all you want to do, right?
Yeah.
At university, I was like going out 5 nights a week, and you think, it's going to be like this forever, but you don't want to be the last guy on the dance floor, as they say. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to be that guy. So,
what age did you retire from the dance floor, Joss?
Okay, mate. My love life has been fucking shocking until my most recent girlfriend, who's absolute star. She's amazing.
I think to be fair to you, right? Because obviously we're the same age. I think it takes a long time until you're ready to settle down as a man. Like, especially when you're here, there. I've been to Australia, Dubai, all over the world, America. Like, you've been traveling around doing all your stuff as well. When you're in that kind of bubble and you're going all these places and you got all these different things going on, it's really hard to lock in. So I think you've done it at the right age, kind of thing.
Yeah. I speak to Ross the other day about it. He was like, you wouldn't have accomplished half the things you have done today. The last 2 years have been like amazing, if you'd probably found that person. And, do you know what I mean? Because I had to be around traveling, and my network, I didn't even know how powerful my network was until the last few years, really, when I have to use it. And I think me being tied down, so to speak, because you've got a lot of commitments, obviously it's by choice you want to be tied down because you want to be with that person. But I think if I did it any earlier, it might have prevented growth, I guess.
There's a happy medium to it for men and for women. You got to be at the right chapter in your life in order to settle down and be any good to anyone else. And I think you've both got to meet each other when you're at that chapter in life where you can, add value to each other, but not overcrowd each other and not stop each other from reaching your fullest potential. And then you can go on and achieve more, can't you?
100%. I think there's a certain type of man, you and I both will fall into this category of like, we're never satisfied where we're at. And it's I've almost been in past relationships where I've not been happy anyway, but like that person, I will almost blame that person for my growth because I'm not growing where I want to be. Do you know what I mean? So it's almost like the ball and chain metaphor that they use as well. And I said to Mike the day he asked, like, do you think it's more productive being in a relationship or not? And I was like, I think it totally depends on where you are in your life. Like, how fast you scale quick. I wasted a lot of years fucking around. So I had to make up for that time. And now I'm in a good place where I can give everything to the person that like I'm with. And I can keep growing at this point. I'm content.
Yeah, I think definitely the fucking around stage, when you look back on it, can definitely hold you back a lot in entrepreneurship and your pursuit of obviously getting your money right and getting your systems right and being able to grow. You know, the way that Elevate's growing and the way that you're scaling that agency and the money that you're doing now, in the probably, I would say, I mean, just a guess, has probably gone up since you've been in a relationship, right? Because you've been more dialed into the business.
Yeah. What I did think was like, I'd save more money because I won't be going out, but I'm just taking her out all the time instead.
Yeah.
No, but like, yeah, I am a lot more focused. The choices that I make with, especially like health-wise, are less detrimental. Like before her, because I met her in Marbella, I was living in Marbella for like 18 months, and as I know a lot of people there because I started working there from a young age. Like it's very easy to go out, and we're going back next month, and I just think I haven't got the urge to go out anymore, or for dinner anyway. Do you know what I mean? So I am making a lot smarter choices. Sure, which sounds ridiculous because I'm 35 and I'm a full-grown adult. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But
mate, I'm going to be honest with you. I like being in bed by 10, bro. And I'm not even ashamed to say it. I do. Yeah. I like being in bed by 10. I like waking up early in the morning. I like getting stuff done. You know, having all my work done by 12 in the day. Recording a podcast at 11 like we are now. Like I like that routine, and I'm happy if I'm in bed by 10 and fulfilled, and I've got something. I've structured my 5 goals for tomorrow that I've got to tick off. You know, it's because I can see progression in that. I couldn't see progression if I was going out to bars and just getting smashed and all this kind of stuff that what the normal 9 to 5 pop do. I just couldn't do it.
It's a productivity hack if you go to bed early, because I did a story about this morning. So after 9 o'clock, nothing happens. You literally probably wind down and watch Netflix, probably for 2 to 3 hours, you know. Or if you're tired, you get into bed and you get up at 5, 6, and then you've got an extra 3 hours every single day, 21 hours extra in the week. You've got a whole day pretty much of productivity. But people fall into the trap of going out or Netflixing, and that, again, compounding effect will seriously, over the month, over the year, you're getting weeks ahead of people over time. But again, that's only something I've realised because I've stopped fucking around and I'm content with where I'm at and who I'm with, you know.
It's all experience, and I know that you're not saying on this podcast, like, you're not judging other people for doing it, because we've both done it, haven't you? Like, we can honestly say I've wasted thousands of hours in my life, you know. But at the end of the day, one thing I realised was, as soon as I got my purpose straight on what I wanted to actually do and had a bit of a vision for myself and a greater vision, and the vision for myself actually involved a bigger purpose than just myself, as soon as I got that sorted, that's when my life changed. So I got that straight on paper. You know, what am I doing this podcast for? What's it about? Okay, what am I trying to achieve with it? What am I trying to achieve for myself? And who else am I doing that for? You know, and when I got those kind of things straight, that's when I started to see doors open for me in my life.
I think that's the hardest part, though, to find your purpose, and people don't know how to find it. So when people try and pick their passion, you can't pick it. You usually just do something until you're good at it, and then you start to enjoy it, I guess.
Well, I think your passion kind of picks you in a way, because it's like if you take it as an analogy of boxing and fitness, the way that you've done fitness and lifting weights, right? I pursued being a boxing trainer because I was around boxing, and that's what I just naturally fell into, and it just worked for me. Whereas bodybuilding wouldn't have been that for me, but bodybuilding was that for you. Like going in, lifting weights, knowing how to curate and chisel out the body the way that you have was just a natural thing for you, but maybe boxing wouldn't have been. So it's like we both just kind of like went to something. We thought, well, we enjoy this, we'll keep going. And then you kind of find a passion within it after you've done it for a series of time. But the first day you go in a boxing gym, get smacked in the face, you can't tell me that you have a passion for that. That you can't get a passion like that. That's not how you get a passion. You don't just get punched in the face or go there as a skinny kid to a gym. You got passion when you started to see the results in the mirror.
Yeah. I guess when it comes down to that picking you, it totally depends on where you're hanging around. So your social circle. And then obviously as you go into it, humility is, you know, inevitable because you're starting from ground zero. But again, it's the progress that you see for sure. But for me, fitness, I just did it because I was from a sporting school. I went to the gym. I never thought, like, realistically, that was going to be a job. I went to university to do estate management, but obviously I was always going to the gym, so it just made sense for me to go down that route. And then that became what I am today, I guess. So yeah, it did pick me, but I didn't realize it for so long. I was trying to find other things, TV, go uni. I did agricultural engineering on my gap year, just trying to find a job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think fitness was like a specifically, overwhelming job at the time.
What things in your life have you had to overcome by your dad not being around when you were younger? Because I'm sure that would have been a difficult one.
I had to grow up a lot quicker than I thought I would have thought of. How do I say that? I had to grow up a lot quicker than someone that age should, I think. I was 16 when he passed. And I've only got a family of women, 2 sisters and my mum. And therefore I became... Do you know what? I had a conversation a few months back about this. I've got a underlying issue, what I did, about proving people wrong to get to my success. And that came from, I think, the loss of my dad. Because, I felt like he left me subconsciously, and I've changed now to try and build success off other people's benefit rather than the people I'm trying to prove wrong. So I think there was a lot of anger that came from that, but I directed it usefully. But being younger in that position, I felt like I had to be man of the house when I was a tiny little skinny kid, and that was one of the reasons that I started going to the gym originally.
Was to build yourself into that man.
Yeah. But I guess when you lose someone like that, it's undescribable, especially as a kid. Like he was my guy. He took me to football training, rugby all the time. So for my mum to take on that role as well was a strange feeling for me. And I guess just not having your hero there, do you know what I mean? Like, it's your dad at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I it's hard to say, really. But,
no, I respect you talking about it. It's not an easy thing. They say and it's something I've not been through yet myself. But obviously, look, if at some point in your life you either have to witness you losing your dad or your dad losing you as a son, like
it's heavy, isn't it? Yeah,
it's heavy when you actually think about it. One way or the other, it's got to go. And one thing I heard recently that was so powerful is that they reckon a man can't step into being a full man until he has lost his dad. Because that is the day that you become a full man in this world, and I'm thankful that day hasn't come yet. But obviously, if and when and whatever happens in that regard, I empathise with you wholeheartedly, because to step up that much at that age, that young, with all that hanging on your shoulders as well, is powerful.
I think anyone who's listening to this who's going through a tough time and grief and so on and so forth, you can use that energy in 2 ways, negatively or positively, and you need to make sure your default mode is full of positive habits. So for me, the gym was that. So I went in and took out any emotion and stress in there to move forward, and that gym, obviously, that flows into loads of areas of your life, because you've got to have discipline, delayed gratification, that goes into career, relationships, so on and so forth. So I'm not saying obviously it's a very traumatic thing, you don't really have a choice about it, but make sure your fucking habits are lined up correctly, because either you're going to sink or swim. And that happens with a lot of things. Mental health's a massive topic nowadays, and it actually, I don't know if it's a good thing to say, but it drives me a bit mad sometimes how when people have issues and some people take their lives, and it's almost, I find it selfish sometimes. I do sympathise because people go through traumatic times, but the butterfly effect that it has for everyone else you're around for generations is so unfair. And I had no choice in that, so I would never wish that upon anyone. And that's why I'm getting emotional. And that's why, when people are going through tough times and they say, I know you haven't been through that kind of stuff, it's only because I don't show it, because I just pull my socks up and fucking get on with it. Yeah. And I think a lot of people, I know Andrew Tate goes on this, and probably people don't like him who I'm listening to, but who are listening to this, but you can promote it or you can just shut up and get on with it. You know, I think that's more of a generational thing because we're a bit older, but like when we were younger, it wasn't a thing. People didn't promote it and speak about it.
Yeah.
You just fucking got on with it.
Yeah.
And so I think it's unfair for people nowadays to try and, I'm not sure where I'm going with this now.
I get what you're saying. It's like, it's hard. We're being brought into a generation where people are kind of being taught to have to feel like there always has to be a problem, like there always
to be so sensitive to the situation, rather than getting on with what you need to get on with as a man or a woman, you know, because it's an easy way out if you want to, you know, just cut it off. I think that's what I had to deal with, and I've got no sympathy really for people who do that, and it sounds harsh only because I've been through that firsthand and I know what it feels like. And if people are making a choice to do that, that means they're not, you know, thinking about their loved ones. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I sympathise with both sides of the coin. I understand that some people get to the point where they feel so lost that they don't feel like they've got any other option than to go down that path, you know. And I couldn't imagine feeling like that. They say in the statistics that they say that if you get three dramatic events happen in your life in quick succession, that it can lead you to that point. AKA, for argument's sake, say a family member dies, and then you get some ailment that comes to you, and then something else happens, and that's the three big events that happen, and it could put you into the point where you consider these options in your life. And I just think to myself, you know, how would I feel? And it's easy for me to sit here and say I would feel different, but I because I'm a positive guy. But when you're in that situation, you you can't see it, no. But from speaking for someone like yourself who's had to overcome that, seeing that in your own personal life and how you've overcome it and dealt with it, it's great that you've articulated it that way, because now other people that listen to this may feel like they've got no other options because they're going through something similar, can overcome it.
You just need to keep going, you know. Every day's a new day, so that's why you need to work on the little things, like your health. Go to the gym, work out. There's no downside to working out. You know, happy endorphins. He's going to make friends. He's going to see gains. All this kind of stuff, not only physically but mentally. Anyone who is listening to this kind of stuff, just make a list and do it. Write down the person you want to be, and do it.
How far have you surpassed the guy that you wrote down that you wanted to be when you started?
I never wrote down who I wanted to be. I can only say that now because I should have done that when I was, 18. And that the reason probably for all the rebelling was because I kind of got so lost. But what would I write down essentially?
Yeah, what would you have written down?
That's a really good question, because a lot of people will be in the situation where they can't see where they want to be and they don't know their purpose yet.
Quick one for you guys. This podcast is sponsored by ContentRemoval.com. As many of you are probably aware, I set up ContentRemoval.com in 2017 to help people remove all forms of online content, and I've looked after some of the biggest names and brands in the world doing it, and I would love to help you if you're struggling. If you're struggling to remove images, videos, search results, fake accounts, or anything online, go to ContentRemoval.com and we'll help you today. Let's frame it a different way so it's more applicable to everyone who listens to this. But let's frame it from the point of view of if you were someone right now who didn't understand their purpose to the full degree that we both do now, because we've got the benefit of the age and the experience and living the life to find it. But if you didn't know what your purpose was, how would you set those initial goals to get to find your purpose, to get to find what you're meant to be doing?
Have your ducks in order. So make sure you're covering the fundamentals of looking after you first off, so you're feeling good, which means you're going to perform, what area you're going to go in. Find what you enjoy to do, and just, I think, try and build something around that. It could be the most simplest thing. It's painting. Paint more. And then you could even look at how to educate people how you got so good at something. I think giving back to someone and teaching someone something is so rewarding. It's more rewarding than actually doing the thing, you know. And then you actually learn more people skills, and you get better at your job by giving back to someone else. I mean, that's what we do now. You know, we should teach people how to build fitness businesses, and it's the most rewarding thing.
Because I suppose with and we'll pivot onto this, like Elevate. Obviously, how long have you been doing that now?
2.5 years. It's only young, but like the lead up, I've been in the fitness game for like 15 years, bro. So
and it took you how long to learn how to monetize fitness in the way that you know is best and the fastest?
What, from like?
So how long did it take you to learn? Because I know there's a lot of people out there that build audiences like as big as what you've got, but they don't make any money online. They don't even make 10K a month, some of them. But you've obviously got a business now that helps people get to that initial 10K and then way beyond that, 50K a month, 100K a month and beyond. So how can people monetize their audience to get to the initial 10K? Like what's the...
People need to get it out of their head that they need big audiences to do well.
Right.
We had a guy just recently, he had 200 followers. After week 3, he went up to 700. In those 3 weeks, he did like $6,400. You know, like with under 1,000. Because in reality, you need a handful of clients if you've got a high ticket package.
Yeah.
And then you've got to realize if you've got a big audience, you need to make sure you've got authority. So you need to provide value. Yeah. If you're not providing value with a big audience, that's why it's hard for like people off Love Island to use their audience as leverage. Because back in the day when there wasn't any systems to work out demographic or where your audience was from, it was just numbers. So brands would approach people and then pay people for the posts and whatnot. Yeah. But now everyone's wised up to it. So if you want to create a career out of your audience, you need to make sure you're giving value to attract the right people to sell to.
Yeah.
You know.
And how long did it take you to even learn that?
Oh, like I was so dumb to it for years, man. I can honestly say my main account, my page, is so split from all the TV shows and whatnot. Majority is fitness and like majority is guys, which I want for fitness. But it's so sporadic, you know. I wouldn't say my audience is particularly good for actually my job at all.
When you get to like the 1 million followers plus on these platforms, does the engagement drop a lot so that it's hard to sell to that audience?
So this is again one of the frustrations people have, and then it gets in their head and they stop doing more when in reality you need to do more to get past that point. Is if your audience isn't engaging so much because you're posting more about work rather than thirst traps and life. I've been through this, so I know you need to post more about of what's bringing you the most results, because we're built from the system that, you know, we get that quick dopamine fix by posting a thirst trap and get thousands of likes. That if you post something that's valuable and it's not really towards the majority of your audience, but a small percentage buy into it, and you might get a payout on the back of it, but the engagement doesn't look great. That's where you're going to progress in life, not through the likes.
This is exactly what I'm going through, because my podcast is slower growing than some of the others in my niche. The reason why is because I focus more on trying to pull out insights out of you that are to educate the audience to move them 1% forward in whatever they're doing, than I am on the entertainment side of things. So talking about all the razzmatazz and all that, I try and keep it so that people can actually learn something from the content. Well, when you position content like that, it gets less engagements and less likes and less reach than edutainment, which is like where you like kind of put a little bit of education on, but it's entertainment wrapped into it. And that's what Alex Hormozi's just found with his content.
Yeah, make it funny, yeah.
He released a video the other day which literally said, Josh, similar to what you're saying. It's like he started to make broad content, attracted all this audience, then realized, hang on a minute, I'm attracting these hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people subscribing to these channels, but they're not going to bring a company to my portfolio. So I'm actually doing something I don't like, and it's bringing me the wrong audience that I can't even monetize how I want to monetize it anyway. So we all get in this massive dick swinging competition about growing follower rates and views on reels and all this other crap that we do. But it doesn't matter, does it?
It's bullshit. And it's like, it's all about consistency and volume. And Hormozy bangs on about that too, but obviously providing quality and volume is the key. But so a lot of our clients who have got big followings who go through this problem where they start promoting value or like anything about business, and then the likes and stuff go down. I send them this guy, and I'll show you him afterwards. This guy on YouTube, not YouTube, on Instagram. All he does on his video, he goes, dude. He says that, right? It sounds so stupid. He posts the same video every single day, and one day it'll get like 1 million views. Next day it'll be like 1,000 views. So what does that say? It just says consistency is key, and the algorithm's going to pick what flies off and what's not. So just do more of what you're doing. But if you're providing value, there's more chance of you actually earning some like revenue off the back of it than doing just education. If you can do both, like what you said, what did you say?
I'm gone, mate. I'm done. Edutainment.
Edutainment.
Yeah, sorry.
If you can educate and get entertainment, then you're kind of winning. But like, you shouldn't be disheartened, because also you should want to give value, because that's you're passionate about it.
Well, one of the things I was actually listening to Gary Vee for the first time in a long time the other day, but he said something really powerful, and it was, think of if you're going to post something, and I've done this, and I'm sure you've done this as well, and you're like, and there's no value, you're posting it for yourself. You're not posting it to give value to others. Don't post it. Because if you're posting to give value to others, that bit of content will actually will serve the audience how it's meant to serve the audience, and it might bring you something back. Whereas if you're just posting something just because a photo, like I've posted before, like pictures of me in Dubai, right? What value, unless I put an unbelievable bit of text underneath that photo that actually changes someone's life, what value does that, me posting a picture of me in Dubai, actually bring my audience? Zero. So I just post reels on there, podcast reels and stuff, because at the moment that's the only content that I have that can actually bring some form of value to them, and they follow me for some form of value, I presume, not just to see my fucking photos on my lunch,
Yeah, I listen to that too. So I agree with that, but also, so this is one of the content strategies you put in place, different features for different things. You're providing value through the reel because you're speaking in it, which means they usually get less likes, and people don't worry about why the likes are less, but the views are higher, right? But then if you're posting a thirst trap or something that's going to get attention, you need to put the value in the caption with the call to action, because you glance, then you go down to the caption, right? So you can use that to your advantage to provide value in the caption. But I understand what he's saying there.
So obviously you're a man that's got some phenomenal pictures as well as videos, right? So break it down for me. What in terms of like performance, because I'm sure you got the metrics on this. When you've posted a thirst trap where it's like you coming out the sea looking like a Greek Adonis, right? Say for argument's sake in Marbella, right? Let's just go there, right? How are you turning that into cash? Like, what are you putting in the caption to turn that into cash so that pays you, that post?
So you'll put, because obviously you can see the first line or first two lines, you put something in bold, which is like a hook, and then maybe you'll put the offer or a solution or a pain point underneath, and then you'll give a call to action. So
and you're just using the image to stop the scroll,
exactly,
and then you sell in within the caption.
Yeah, and then with a reel, you need to like almost. You see all these people they'll shout something at the first 3 seconds, and then grab someone's attention. And they'll be like, "Oh, now I've got your attention." Then it goes into it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you just need to use the different features to your advantage.
When it comes to like these. If we looked at the grid of the last 9 posts, how many on your feed, how many are value compared to selling, or do you sell on every one?
On mine, not on my main page. If you go on like the coaching pages and transformation pages, they're just stacked with value. Right. I just want to give as much value as possible. It's funny because like on my IG, like just what we said, like I don't particularly post too much value. I'll post a bit here and there. I'll mix it up with some personal stuff as well. But on the other pages, I'll just stack it with value. I'll post twice a day. I'm not asked what I'm posting. I'm just posting value. And the interaction's way higher. And obviously, because I'm doing more volume. But it's almost because it's like not my main page, so to speak. I don't really care about it. I'm just banging it out. Do you know what I mean? And that's what people need to do. And that's what I actually need to do actually on my main page.
on my main page, I reach about 1.1 million, right, a month. On my podcast page, which is like about 10,000 less followers, I reach about 5.5 million a month.
Wild, isn't it?
So, and it's because, like, I literally outsource it to my guy. I'm like, pick the best clips, do this, do that. He's just banging out content all the time. And it's amazing how much difference it makes by not giving a fuck. Like, not so much not giving a fuck, but just setting parameters, right? Provide value. If it doesn't add value and it doesn't bring anyone some form of transformation in the clip or some form of value, don't post it. Okay, cool. That's the parameters. Rip up my content, post it from wherever you like, make sure it fits within these parameters, do it. As soon as you remove all the barriers for you actually performing the action and just set a framework in place, you've just now made your whole life easier. Whereas me and you on the main page, we're like, if we get one post out a day, that's a lot, you know?
It's so true. I don't know what it is. I don't particularly want to post on it too much, but I'll post all day on my other page because I don't care. It's a weird thing. I think a lot of people will probably have the same barriers.
Yeah, and what's your thoughts in like these? You think a multiple page strategy is best for like if you're like a new to the online business world, you're trying to build a profile, personal brand, etc. Would you have like the Josh Mooney account and then the transformations account and then the elevate account and then this account, or would you tell them to concentrate on one account?
I think it depends how big your original account is. For me, I wanted to filter through what I had to get more coaches, you know. So that's why you make Elevate or my transformation page, whatever it is. Because right now it's just like a haystack of followers, but I don't know who's doing what. So it makes sense for you to make a different page based off that specific niche.
Yeah.
But if you're starting off with a smaller audience, just base that page around what you want your niche to be.
Yeah, and funnel it down. How big has like personal branding been for you throughout this like journey, so to speak?
I wouldn't even like. I kind of made in hindsight, the mistake of not being like a personal brand. I was always, I worked for the people and I was doing shoots for the people and stuff like that. And again, in hindsight, I wish I'd just kept doing one thing. Like if I just did the YouTube route, but obviously we can't change the past. But I don't think I never think I've got massive authority in the space at all. I've been around for a long time and I probably know quite a lot through experience, but I never thought my personal branding had a massive effect on where I am today. Probably more anything is just work ethic, especially now.
Have you got to the stage now where you realise that if you just repeated the boring stuff that you thought was boring and repetitive, that you would have got to the pinnacle a lot faster or a lot further?
That's exactly what I do now, bro. Yesterday, right, Sunday, I was like, I'm going to chill, right? And I'm sat there. I just hadn't organised anything all day. Every day's got something, meetings, work, whatever it is. And I was just sat on the sofa and I just got on my phone and started working. The missus is like, what are you doing? Because my hobbies is actual work when I think about it.
Yeah,
I work, I train.
You find purpose in it.
Yeah, I love it. I love speaking to people as well, and that's like a massive part of the job. I'm speaking to coaches every single day, and I enjoy it. I haven't really got anything else to do. So it's not in even the... I mean, there is boring sides to it, don't get me wrong. Like chasing up leads and going through spreadsheets and whatnot, but like, I love it. Like, and the life it's given me, you know, like I can't knock it at all. Yeah. But that's only come through like doing the boring stuff to begin with. Like, even when coaches are starting out, and if you listen to this and you are a coach starting out, you have to go through the fucking trenches to get any sort of momentum, and then you become your own motivation. And once you've got to the first stage where you can put yourself where you're most valuable and maybe pay someone to do some sort of automation, whether it's fulfillment, VAs, setting, whatever it is, you can keep going up a level and up a level and up a level and then get people to do the jobs you don't want to do. So you're at the top where you're most valuable. But you have to go through the shit to begin with. Yeah, anything.
I've loved watching your journey because you've gone from the reality guy to obviously get the building the fitness and making online personal training work, and then you're teaching online personal trainers how to scale to the 10k, 25k, 50k a month and beyond thing. And then I noticed in your bio you've got gymboost.ai. Like what's that going to be for you? Like you've just stepped into AI, and I believe it's something to do with helping client retention in gyms or something like that.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of the next move maybe for this year. So we've got hundreds of clients, some with ginormous audiences, and what we've worked out is it doesn't matter how big the audience is, they're still not paying customers. So they have to provide value to get them to pay to sign up, which is great if you've got a bigger audience, especially with low ticket, right? But these gyms, they have tens of thousands of already paying members. So if we can provide a system with our software for a low ticket subscription based model, provides nutrition training, all this kind of stuff, for you to upsell them for £2, £3, £4, £5 a month, you stack that over the year, that's a significant amount of revenue increase, and then every single member of their gym gets nutrition workouts to do, and then you can even go through the platform to get PTs. So the retention of the people at the gym are going to be a lot higher, because not only they're going to have the gym membership, they're going to have a platform which they can use at any other gym around the world. So they're always keeping paying customers.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Yes, yeah. You're working on retaining these clients wherever they go, and just following the life cycle of the client, so you can get more money out the back end. Where a lot of personal trainers, a lot of people in the fitness space, just rely on the first sale as their clip and don't think about back end revenue, right?
Yeah, with the gyms that almost localized for the revenue, but if they can have a service outside of that online, like I could be a member at TK Gym, I could be training back in England, going through their platform because they give me an awesome workout and nutrition. Do you know what I mean? So you stay hooked into that.
And is this more for independent gyms? Because obviously a lot of the bigger chains have already started to come onto this thing, and they've got their own fitness apps now. Like David Lloyd has one, I think Anytime Fitness has one. But like, are these more for like the independents, like the TKs, like the?
Yeah. To start off with, yeah. I mean, we have had some conversations, maybe potentially doing something with Pure, but like obviously that'd be awesome. That'd be life changing. But it depends if their tech's good enough, and obviously we've got to be fast, because obviously AI is nuts nowadays, and it's scary how fast it's developing. But yeah, that's one of the moves we want to go into.
When you're building in AI, because obviously a lot of people in this audience that listen to this are going to want to build something in AI themselves. They don't know what they want to do, but they might have a couple of ideas. How have you started the process in terms of like building your minimum viable product, finding the right prompt engineers or engineers in AI, whoever you've got to kind of build the back end out? How have you approached it?
So I had my own app built by a company called Affluencer, who then got bought out by the software development company we're with now. And then because our journey is, I was doing low ticket with them, and I had my own app, and it was great. Life was good. And then I met my business partner, Jamie, and we started to do high ticket. I didn't really know what high ticket was. I didn't know what ticket was. It was just different prices, right? I didn't know you could charge like 2K, 1,600 for a client. I was like, get fucked. I was like, no one's buying that. But long story short, we did that, and we winged it, and we scaled to over 7 figures year one with me, him, and his brothers, and it was wild, bro. And that was when I had no responsibilities either. There was like no staff or anything. And then
those are the best days,
mate. Best days, mate. And I missed those days. But then the software development company was like, why have you stepped away from your platform? Like, what are you doing? So I met the CEO in Dubai, and he was like, talk to me, what's going on? And I was like, proper hands like off, like thought he was trying to steal my idea. And then he's like, let's combine this. So we do low ticket and high ticket, which is now what we do for anyone. So that's why, like, when anyone comes to our door, we're like, how big's your audience? Like, what's your demographic? All this kind of stuff. Whether you're a PT with no followers or someone with millions, we can provide you with the right system based off what you want to do. Because the ideal scenario in an online coach world is to have a fucking huge ecosystem, right? And then you've got different offers providing different levels of accountability and services. Bottom obviously being low ticket, fully automated with the software development company. Top being, high ticket, 2 to 5K packages. We have some coaches have clients paying, and then a mid ticket offer. And you've got 3 different offers to hit different types of people who can afford it. and you are where you need to be at the top, where people are getting the most accountability, and then at the bottom is just automated.
What's your thoughts though on, some people say focus on one thing and get one thing right before you go low ticket, mid ticket. I mean, I personally think from what I've seen that high ticket is the best place to start and for most people in that industry. I think high ticket is the way to go to get going.
Yeah, especially if you've got a lower following, for you to get where you want to be quicker is to focus on high ticket, because the reward's a lot higher. You've got time at that point to give the accountability to the clients to get great results, and then that will obviously flow into more people coming to your door because you'll post their testimonials. But then you'll get to a point eventually where if your lead gen strategies are correct and you're doing your warm outreach, cold, and your ads, where you're getting lots of calls. Say every 10 calls you get 2 sign-ups or 3 sign-ups, so 30% close rate, which is good. What happens to the other 7? They just fall off. Where do they go?
So you want something to sell them into.
You need a downsell option. And this is one of the things. We do a tremendous amount of outreach every month. And I know how coaches feel when we approach them, because I had a chip on my shoulder too, right? But all we're trying to provide is a different revenue stream. We're not even trying to poach people from other places. But if you're doing one and you're not doing the other, we can provide that. So we're just opening another door for you to sell to your audience, because a lot of these people are I know people doing, over 6 figures a month just doing high ticket. How many calls are they doing a month? They don't have a downsell option, which is automated. Imagine if you could just have that coming in every single month while you sleep.
So you're building your recurring revenue model underneath yourself so that you can actually have some time off where you don't have to be involved in the business. Whereas at the moment, when you're just doing high ticket at the start, you just keep doing recurring active income. So you've got to actually go out, work for it, provide a service, provide talking on the phone, et cetera, et cetera. So what you're saying is it just feeds into the bottom, and then the bottom layer overtakes the top. And if you want, you could bring your high ticket down to just your 10 favorite clients, for argument's sake.
Exactly, because you'll get to a point, especially with high ticket, you're getting paid an awesome amount up front, but then you've got to do 12, 16 weeks of fulfillment, which is very time consuming as well. I posted 2 graphs the other day of 2 clients who'd done very well throughout the year, but very similar figures. But the graphs with the low ticket was just smooth. Graphs with the high ticket was like bam, bam, bam. So you're always chasing front end sales. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, it's amazing because you're getting paid a lot up front. But there is actually, you get to a certain point where you'll have to pay a team, and then you've got to do a lot more yourself. But if you spend the time having, compounding couple low ticket sales every single day over 6-12 months.
Well, yeah, because lumpy cash businesses, which is essentially what we're talking about here, they are great for getting large chunks in. But when you got this lumpy cash coming in, you want something underpinning your lifestyle. You don't want to start every month from zero again, which is what a lot of us get. We get caught in the cycle of starting every month from zero. We go and make 30 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand. Then we start next month, we're at zero again. It's like, well, that's not really learning the art of entrepreneurship, is it? If you're starting at zero every month, you've just literally missed all the signs along the way to say that you should have built something in that 30 days that could have brought you more revenue. So you're not starting at zero, but you just kind of completely blindsided yourself and missed it all.
Yeah, that's in this book that I'm reading as well. You can be awesome at earning money and you can be rich, but if you want to be wealthy, you need to start investing that to, have MRR every single month. Waking up, at the first, and you still got a shit ton of cash coming in, and then you can focus on the front end stuff as well.
Yeah,
and that's all we're trying to do. Help coaches do that. Essentially,
you said you had some cold outreach strategies that you're using. Are you just using organic strategies like DMs, cold email, all these kind of strategies, and give me a bit of a breakdown of these strategies and how people can use them in any business? Because the strategies that you're talking about could be used in any business, not just fitness, right? Any business, yeah.
Obviously, when I speak to people and I what's your lead gen strategy? It's I'll post, wait for people to come for me. I'm like, you're just waiting for people to come to you. So we've got full mentorship on teaching people where to find clients, how to initiate a conversation, a DM script to get them qualified and then booked in for a call. It's you can't go wrong with it. Like,
give me some of the sauce on here, Josh. Come on, give me some of the sauce.
So, for example, what I used to do, as a coach, I used to go on to the most well-known, expensive gyms I could find, because you're online,
like the Equinoxes of the world.
Equinox, David Lloyd, wherever you want to be, any country as well, right? Fly through the followers. Maybe it takes like a minute or two to try and look at if they need help, and then open a conversation using their name, saying, "Oh, I'm thinking about going to the gym in Equinox in Los Angeles this week. Like, would you recommend it?" Open a conversation up, and then start to go into like conversation about how long you've been training there. Like are you currently on program or anything like that? And then like try and work in a pain point. Like, I'm currently struggling with this as well. Like, what are you struggling with? And then take them through like, just general conversation, because you need to open a conversation on common ground. So then if you go in with a sell straight away, people are just like, fuck off. And you know what? Like, a lot of the time you'll get binned off, but it's volume. So with
just before you continue with that, the volume, how much volume is it to sale ratio with your kind of process? If I say, would it be every 30 I'd sell one doing that, or is it every 10 with your data? What's the data telling me?
I could pull you up some graphs on here. For example, when I did it for 2 years, and it winds me up when people don't want to do it. So I used to do about 30 to 40 a day. I used to do cardio on a morning. So that's like 900 to 1200 DMs going out per month. It's a lot, right? So for you to sign 20 to 50 clients throughout the month, whether it's low ticket or high ticket, shouldn't be too much of an issue if you've got a good DM script, you provide value, and then whether you're closing them on a call or you've got a good product to sell them for low ticket, it's pretty acceptable to say. And it's to answer your question there, it's very hard to answer that because everyone's demographic is different. Everyone has a different offer as well. Again, it depends who you're targeting. Someone might be in a bad mood that day, so you have to do follow-ups as well.
I think you'd get good results from every 30 or 40 you send. I think you could do one client and one sale. I really do think that. And
we're actually working with the AI company now. I'm testing it out for that to do. Because obviously, like, when you get to a level, you don't want to do that outreach because it's not where you're most valuable. So you get VAs and setters to kind of take that role on so you can focus on crushing sales calls so they get booked in for you. And now we're looking at AI to do outreach for you. Imagine having someone in your DM doing 40 outreach every day, cold, maybe do another 40 of warm people who follow you. You've got 80 outreach going out, and you've got a low ticket product in place for $30 to $50 a month. It's fully automated, outreach done, and you can get these bots to like sell it in the DM for you. It's wild, bro. It's just printing cash.
Well, I think the reason you say 40 actions a day in the DMs is because when you go above 50, you get flagged on Instagram anyway, don't you?
So 40 is cold, like people that do not know who you are. It's around 40, and then you get a 24-hour suspension. But if you warm anyone who's following you, you can do as many as you want.
All right. So there's a different algorithm for warm compared to cold.
Yes, because they follow you, I think. Yeah. So, for example, we had a setter do like 150 the other day, and I was like,
dangerous.
Dangerous. I was like, but like, it's majority is warm people. So if your account's growing significantly, you got a couple of hundred people following you every day, message all of them, especially if you're providing value on that page.
Yeah.
They're following you for a reason if your page is built on value.
Yeah, and you could even like start to say, look, why are you following me, and start to figure out what their pain points are. Exactly. So you actually, it's beneficial to do that so you understand what kind of audience you're building and what their pain points are. So if you're not reaching out to your audience, you can't find out the pain points. So how are you ever going to get closer to the point where you can sell them something and sell them something that actually helps them?
This is the point when I say, if you've got 1,000 followers as a coach, you've got more than enough people to get at to do well. You've got 1,000 people there. Get out all of them. Message all of them.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
I mean, I've kind of negated the DM stuff. I've done a lot of business through cold email and reaching out to people that have existing problems. Obviously, my business is content removal. We're removing online content for celebrities and brands. We naturally reach out to people cold that already have an existing problem. But it's like you can even preempt it on the DMs and start doing it by DMs as well. And then we have done some of it to a bit, but not to the extent that you're talking. I think there's just a treasure chest of unlocked money on everyone's Instagram that they're not even opening up.
I think that's what a lot of people forget to, look at. They just look at the numbers, but like each number's a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you can use that. I think it's funny because when people look at Instagram, the higher the number, like they don't really take into consideration how many people it is. It's just numbers, right? But if you had all those people in a room, and then you had 50 people in a room, it's a lot of fucking bodies, right?
Yeah.
And then if you sold 50 people, it'd be amazing.
Yeah.
That's what people need to look at when they look at their Instagram follow or any kind of followings and email lists, and then looking at different platforms as well.
And you can easily sell like $50, $500 to $1,000 offers to that type of people through DMs and payment links. Like
Sure.
it's when you actually break it down, it's so there's no excuse really not to be doing 5-10K a week from doing that kind of method, just because you have all the ability to do it.
It's all from your phone.
Yeah, and it's like you're literally right. And it's just, you can reach out to the 1,000 followers that you have or the 500 followers, and you've still got, if you've got 500 followers, you've potentially got 50 people that will pay you $500 to $1,000.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy to me.
The main blockage of that is self-belief, because people don't think that they can do that, especially because it's not, face-to-face and they've never done it before. There's so many coaches that come on. A girl called Paris, she had like, I think she had she's doing like 100 sessions a week or something. She had no time at all, bro, charging like £30 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, you need to, this is actually a good point as well, because a lot of coaches their plate will be full of clients, so they have no time to go online. That's her argument. So you need to look at the people who aren't performing realistically and just let them go. Getting out a few hours back within your week, and then start to build up a content strategy, start to do outreach strategies, and then start to sell through your social media to give you your time back, get all your current clients and offer them an upsell package to do a hybrid. So you're going to be holding them accountable at home with nutrition and training. They're going to come into the gym. Instead of having 2 sessions a week, they'll have 1.
Yeah.
Because they don't need to be there twice a week for you to hold their hand. You can tell them exactly what to do for the other 6-7 days of the week when they're training, whatever it is, right? So that means you're getting way more of your time back. You're also upselling to the people who already trust you because they're current clients, and then you can focus on building an online business, creating freedom, and you're getting your time back. Your time is the most valuable thing. If you're driving to the gym every day to train clients, you're losing 2 hours of the day there most of the time.
Yeah,
it's nuts. And in those 2 hours, you could speak to 60 people.
Yeah, and you can literally be on the treadmill, like you say, walking up a hill on a 15-degree incline, and you could DM 40 people while you're doing that.
Losing fat, yeah.
Whilst you're actually achieving your goal.
Exactly.
You're achieving your monetary goal, and you're filling your calendar full of leads, but you're also achieving the goal of what you actually...
Getting shredded, yeah.
Getting absolutely fucking shredded, yeah. Wait, I think it's good because this is so simple. It's such a simple process to follow, because any of you that are listening to this, and if you're not DMing 20, 30, 40 people a day, even if you just do that, it's going to change your life. But I tell a lot of my coaching clients, mentorship clients, I tell them that to do 40 actions a day. Mm-hmm. I say like 10 cold calls, 10 text messages to your network, 10 emails, 10 DMs. Like if you just put 40 actions out into the world every day, they're intent-based actions where you're adding value to someone else, but you're also looking to help them in some way. You can't tell me that in 2 or 3 weeks' time you haven't done some form of business or sold something.
For sure.
You can't fail.
But what happens is, this is the boring work in the trench, is what we were talking about before, by the way. After this, it gets better. But like, what people don't understand is, again, the compounding effect. So you could do a whole week's worth of DMs. You might not get no replies over the weekend, and that'll probably hit you a little bit. You're like, oh, fuck it, it's not working. People take days to respond. And then 2 weeks later, you might get a fucking flood of DMs come in because people don't reply straight away.
Yeah.
They're not computers. Some people don't check their DMs. So it's just about doing the shit that needs to be done, and also having blind faith of where you want to be, then it's going to fucking work out.
And this goes out to especially like people that own gyms as well, because like you've got a gym that has like 3,000 followers on Instagram account. You can literally, if you're a Pilates studio in Leicester and you're struggling and you're at 150 members, you should be cold DMing 40 members every day on your Instagram account, with a nice script, trying to get them in to sign up for your Pilates studio. Like, it's so obvious that that's what you should be doing right now.
There is a lot of people actually doing it. Like, do you know how many copywriters are in my DM, in my requested DMs at the moment? And
they're not very good, though. Let me tell you,
they're fucking no. They're awful. And sometimes I'll just like message one back. I'll correct them. I was like, bro, look at your page, man. You need to optimize your bio. Give me some value. And like this applies to coaches as well. If you're DMing someone, especially cold, most people check their requested messages and their DMs. They need to know in 2 seconds what you're about. So your bio needs to be optimized of like who you are, what you do, what your offer is, and your page needs to be providing value. You know?
So would you say that everyone needs to have an I help statement? I help this type of person do this, or what other optimization strategies have you got for the bio so that your prime bit of real estate's popping on Instagram? Let's just focus on Instagram.
Yeah, so like from a coach perspective, so you'd have fitness coach in your name. You'd probably have fitness coach. So if people search fitness coach, you come up at the top of the search bar sometimes as well. Then you'd put like, I help busy individuals lose body fat or specific weight, 20 pounds in 90 days, something like that. And then coaching links below or something like that. And then below you want to have your highlights, your testimonials, and then maybe nutrition, training, providing value. And then again, you need to be doing those 3 topics. And personal, people like to see a bit of you as well throughout your content strategy.
Yeah, I like that.
It's just your IG is a portfolio of who you are and what you're selling. It's a business nowadays. Do you know what I mean? People do use it for personal stuff.
I think if you're on Instagram using it for personal, I think you're kind of missing the point now. I think it's gone too long.
Yeah.
I think you've got to always be selling or promoting. At the end of the day, me and you are always selling or promoting on Instagram. Like, I'm always trying to promote people to well, I'm giving away the podcast for free, but like I'm trying to literally go on there to promote this podcast, to put it in more of your ears, to actually add more value to your life. And that's all I want to do.
That's what you do. You give, and then you take, it's like 30 gives to 1 take or something like that.
Yeah. To the ask.
Yeah. The ask. But then if you provide free value, it builds so much trust as well. And that's the point of your IG, to provide as much free value as possible. And what the thing is a lot of people's routines on a daily basis will provide so much value to people aren't doing what they want to be, essentially. So a coach who's in shape, relatively good shape, or even not, you're probably doing a lot more than the average person who wants to lose 5 to 10 pounds. So you can actually have more value in you than you think as well.
Yeah.
Just post.
And I think a lot of what a lot of bodybuilder people in fitness do is they post pictures of them posing in the mirror, but like it just alienates the general population client that would probably be your ideal client anyway.
Yeah.
Whereas coaches have done it really well, like people like yourself, people like James Smith. With his content, it's relatable content, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, everyone has their niche. One thing I've always kind of promoted, which is more or less now, but like I like to enjoy myself while being in shape. I'm not a genetic freak. I work hard, but I love to go for a beer and eat nice food at the same time. But I just justify my shit. It's like, did a reel on it the other day. Like if you're having 2,000 calories a day, 7 days a week, you're leaving no room for the weekend. It's just the same thing every single day. So you need to be in a deficit even further Monday to Friday to enjoy Saturday and Sunday. Do you know what I mean? But you have to look at the whole week.
With old Thurston's physique, Mike Thurston, is he like, he's proper dialed, isn't he? He wouldn't have a beer, would he?
Yeah, he does. Probably not beer. I've caught him red-handed a few times, chuck a shot of tequila over his shoulder while everyone's done it. Like he makes smart decisions when he's out. And like he goes out to have a good time, doesn't go out to get like sloppy or anything like that.
Yeah.
But like I've known him since university, and I remember before I even knew him, everyone was like, "You need to meet this Mike Thurston." Because I was a gym guy at I was at Northumbria, he was at Newcastle, and he's like, "You need to see this guy. He's tanned, ripped, eating pot noodles all day." And I was like, "Who's this
pot noodles?
Who's this myth?" And he's an incredible. He's got incredible physique. I don't know how strict his diet is right now, but like he even said on the podcast, like, when I was competing, it was really hard. I was having to do hours cardio every day, then weights, and like being a deficit. I was like, bro, that's me all year.
Yeah, that's just me to be able to go down to the local beach club.
Yeah,
Like, do you know,
so I think he's got a gift, so to speak.
Yeah,
he's got a mad physique,
and it's good because obviously Mike's smashed life and he's done really well and he's a top lad. But I do think that like some of the lads that potentially look at Mike and think that his physique's attainable, it's like he is a genetic gift from God. Like when it comes to physiques, not all of us can obtain that. You know what I mean? Like you got a great rig yourself, but like we have to work within the parameters that God's given us. You know what I mean? So I think he's just he's eating on point. He's doing everything on point, but also he's just got the genetics, bro. You need a little bit of the genetics as well to get to the level that he's got.
Yeah, there is a certain point with genetics, but again, if you want to be somewhere, you just got to make time for it. It's priority.
Yeah. And he knew from early days, same as what you knew, what the priorities were. You wanted more balance and to grow more entrepreneurially, but and to have the time out. He's been fully dialed on having the perfect physique for all year round.
He doesn't like slip.
Yeah.
He's just peeled all year.
Yeah, which is fucking hard, man.
Just don't stand on the beach next to him.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to. But your move to Dubai, obviously, you've left the UK now. Have you left there full time, or what was your thoughts behind the whole move out here?
It was kind of by accident. I've literally just renewed my visa as well, so it's like going to my like 5th year. But I didn't move properly until last September. I do the whole thing where you come for a few months.
Same as what I'm doing.
Yeah, and it's just like last September sold apartment, sold my beloved R8, love that car, and I was just like, fuck it, let's do it properly, So
was this the apartment in the UK, or was it apartment in Marbella? Because you lived in Marbella as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I lived in Marbella, but I had an apartment in Birmingham which I rented out, and I live elsewhere in Marbella and London, and I just sold everything. And I was like, fuck it, let's do it. Do you know what? Like,
you've got some balls, because I've got an apartment in the UK. I want to sell it. I don't dare.
I just don't. The UK isn't aligned with where I want to be. I love my family and seeing them like that, but like every time I go back, I'm happy to leave. Yeah.
Would you say it's got worse then over the last?
For sure,
5-6 years. Sure.
Especially with like, it's just. Even above tax, the weather like it fucking does my brains in, bro.
Yeah.
But the move here, truthfully, wasn't even like about, because home is where the heart is, right?
Yeah.
And I've had some awful relationships, like I said, and when I was here, I had some terrible ones. Man, I was actually really lonely the first time I came, because this place is what you make it. If you're out and about having a good time and you're feeling positive, it will be that. And it was the opposite for me then. So. Like, thank God to my girlfriend now. Like, I'm in a really good space, and our apartment feels homely. Got like a fucking little dog running around now, and it's mint. That's why I love this place now. Then I've got all the benefits on top: the weather, the tax, the networking. You can do anything at any point, any day. We'll go skydiving.
Yeah, it's outside the apartment window right now. The skydiving, as we're speaking.
Like, it's the opportunity of this place, what it brings. But you've got to be in the right. You've got to have the right people around you, because again, like any place, it can be quite false, so you need to find the right people to be around.
I think what you're saying is 100% correct. I think it's about, when you're out here, it's about surrounding yourself with the kind of people that you actually want to surround yourself by.
Yeah.
And it's about not letting this place destroy your soul, because I think there's a lot of soulless stuff you can get dragged into out in Dubai if you want to get dragged down those paths. You can be out at 5 Palm and you can live that life if you want to live it. But is that going to take you to what you said you originally wanted to move out here for?
But again, that goes back to your default mode. It's very easy. We could go out, breakfast, lunch, dinner, 7 days a week, and you could lose all your money. But then, is that aligned with your goals? Yeah. I love to do those things, but, I'm on a mission. How
do you hold yourself accountable then to being the right version of yourself in the destination that you're in? Like a Dubai. How do you hold yourself?
Treat it like a luxury.
Right.
It is. I've the luxury of being able to go out on a Sunday to the best place with the best views, be grateful for it and don't abuse it. It's like anything that's good in life. If you abuse it, it'll take advantage of you and then you'll end up in the gutter. Do you think you'll do 3 years more here, 5 years more? Or I'll stay here for, the future for sure. It takes a couple of times to get used to it though before you want to settle here, I think. I'm kind of coming around to it now, but I'm talking about like I've been coming here for like
I'm in my third year of coming here for like 3 months at a time, 2 months at a time, all that kind of shit, you know.
Burn the boats, bro.
You reckon?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, it's an amazing place.
Yeah.
And like, I used to say it was soulless.
Yes, I've used that line so many times.
I literally used to say that, and that's just me being naive to what it is. It's not soulless, it's just new, and it's the future. It's like, you could say England has soul because it's so old, but look at where the direction it's going in.
Yeah,
you know, it's not the best.
What I found hard about the UK, especially, is it's just so even if you're a really positive person, if you're there for a period of time, negativity is just thrown at you from every direction. And even if you don't watch TV, some family members will watch TV or watch the news. So you'll go around there at 6 p.m. and they'll have the news on, and it'll just bring, even if it's in your peripheral hearing or peripheral vision, you still get brought down by that negative energy. Even when you walk into the shop and you say, "Good morning, mate," and someone says to you, "It's fucking shit, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like someone
bloody weather.
Yeah, bloody weather, mate.
Dude, I don't even watch, I don't even watch the news. I have no idea, like, really.
I have
no
idea
It's quite
either.
bad. I know some bad things going on in the world, but they promote the bad things to keep you in fear. There's a whole fucking system around it, and I'm pretty happy in my own little world doing what I want and trying to help as many people. And that's probably the thing, right? And I blame the weather. Because if the weather was good, people wouldn't be at home, they wouldn't be watching the TVs, and so they're glued to the TVs, absorbing all this shit that is just, you know, whatever the higher power is.
The sooner people learn that you curate your own reality, and it is whatever you want it to be, the better, I think. And that's what I encourage every single one of you that listens to this to do, because it literally is that. Whatever you want your reality to be, you can live it. You just have to be willing to put the time in, do the boring work, aka the DMs, to create the money, to create the revenue stream, so you can go and live this vision of yours. But yeah, if you can do all those steps, you can go and achieve anything.
And they say that quote, don't they? Like, moving out of your hometown is like the biggest life hack. And the sad reality is, the people who love you most in the world want to keep you safe. And by keeping you safe is potentially not letting you grow. And usually, like, I even spoke to my mum about this. She wanted to keep me safe, to get a normal job, do this, that, and the other. But then I've gone above and beyond of what she thought I could have been, you know, after the situation I went through when I was younger. So you need to step away from the people who are, not in a bad way, but like, you know, just keep them at arm's length, people who are maybe putting your dreams down a little bit, and then go after it. And then people might laugh at you. But, you know, like I said earlier, you've got to have the blind faith on whatever direction you're going in, that you're just going to fucking win.
Just give it a nudge. Like, just literally give life a nudge. You don't
give it a nudge,
just
mate.
give it a nudge. Like, I don't know what you
get punched in the face.
I don't know why. Like, I say that to you because, like, you know, a couple of years ago, I was sat in the Gold Coast and I had the dream apartment with the dream view in the Gold Coast, and I thought that was as much as I could achieve. And then I started to put Dubai on. I know it sounds a bit cliche, on the vision board and stuff like this, and I'm literally, the view that I'm looking at now was on the vision board, and on my next vision board is the view looking this way onto this bit, and the panoramic around there off the palm. That's on my next vision board, and I'll get that too. I know I will. And when you have that knowing, self-belief in yourself that you can achieve this stuff by putting it in your vision, just putting it into your thought process that it could be achieved, it just can't help but come to you over a period of time with the daily actions that you're taking. And it's all to do with, as Josh says, the boring work. Do the boring work and just keep putting in the boring stuff, because it's the boring stuff that leads to all the results. The reason why Mike Thurston's got an amazing rig is because he does all the boring shit. He does all the counting the calories and all this stuff. The reason why he elevates scaled to 7 figures in a year was because you did all the boring outreach stuff. And the reason why content removal works is because we send fucking cold emails. Like, fuck me. Like, it's not rocket science.
It's that thing that Michael Jordan said, didn't he? He did thousands and thousands of, you know, hoops before, and then he'd miss more than he'd actually, you know, get in, for sure, even in games. But people only remember the wins. But people don't remember the thousands of hours that he did to get those wins, essentially.
What other businesses are you going to roll into while you're out here? Because once you get out here and you start doing this, I presume you're entrepreneurial, gears start spinning, you want to do other stuff. Are you just going to focus in the same stuff as you want and dial that in and just boost that up? Or are you going to go into some other things as well?
I don't want to distract myself from the end goal of what Elevate is. Obviously, like I said you earlier, making an investment, hopefully with George, or signing contract soon. That's more because I want to have a cool van to roll around in. I don't want to drive.
I think George, obviously, I don't know whether his podcast will go out before yours or after yours, but George has got George is on the podcast as well, and I suppose you boys just want a fun little side project, don't you? Like it'll make you good money, but like it's just this renting out these highly luxury vans whilst picking people up, taking them around Dubai. It's like it's pretty cool little side hustle, isn't it?
You just want to make everything as easy and accessible as possible while you're here. So like, if we're investing into something that we enjoy to do, because that comes with all the links to the boats and the entertainment with the buggies. So if we're doing luxury van hire, we get to benefit off it, and then earns a little bit on the back end as well. So like it makes sense.
Yeah, and that's a classic example. There is like George has smashed it in entrepreneurship like you, but he's took it to a different fucking level, right?
That's off to it. He's killed it.
He's took it to a different level. I mean, his business turns over 75 to 100 million a year. Like he's absolutely sends it. But if you can plug in the way that you've engineered this is through your network, and why I'm talking about this is because you're plugging in your following into this more entrepreneurial stuff, and then that can kind of, without using the cliche, elevate the brands, right? Because you're using what you're both good at, putting it together.
And again, that's Dubai's blessing, is meeting people. I didn't know who George was like a few months back, and we just connected through someone in the gym.
How low key is George, man?
Oh mate, so low key, bro.
He's not like, this is why I like him so much, because he's real entrepreneur, and he's not loud at all. Like, and it's amazing what these people earn, isn't it? Like,
yeah, dude. Like, his friend Liam, who introduced me to him, he's just so chill. He rocks up, and
Liam's a nice guy too, actually,
nice
as well.
Guy, yeah. And his dunks and his vest. I mean, he did a video of his drive the other day. He's got the vans outside. He's got his fucking Ferrari, he's got his Lambo, he's got 2 bikes, he's got his G-Wagon. This guy just fucking looks like GTA, bro.
Yeah, bro. But it's people like George that make me understand like how real money moves. Because even though he's got all that stuff, he's not pretentious with it, he's not loud about it, and also like he's just down to earth, and he's not obnoxious. And the ones that are the most obnoxious online and the way they flash all their stuff are the ones that really are just all show, also, aren't they?
No one cares.
Yeah.
No one cares as much as the person driving the car. Like,
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And but then people don't look at also, he'd been doing that for 7 years, a 7-day performance. What did he do at the start? Years and fucking years of probably been on his ass for a bit. Do you know what I mean?
He started it in the Gold Coast, Australia.
Oh, he started there?
So he started it in the Gold Coast, Australia. They launched the brand from the Gold Coast, Australia. It started with him and his mate. His mate was in England. They used George's initial money to fund it, while his mate was buying the stuff because his mate had gone back from Australia earlier than him. And he was still in the Gold Coast whilst it was kicking off within the first 6, 7, 8 months, then had to go from the Gold Coast back. He started in 2017. So
I thought he started in the UK.
No. Most people think he started in the UK, but no, he was out in Australia when he started it. It's mental. It's a mental journey, and
interesting guy.
Yeah, interesting guy, and you should definitely tune into that podcast on this podcast whilst you're doing it. But mate, I love to end the podcast with this one simple question, because I think it allows you to articulate and package everything that you've said today into one statement. But if you had to check out the world tomorrow and you could just leave something for this audience to move them 1% forward today, like everyone in this audience 1% forward, and you can't leave none of the flashy stuff, but it's just one single piece of advice, what would you leave for them?
Whoa, bloody hell. One of my favourite quotes is, "Pressure is a privilege." So realising whenever you're going through tough times, you've probably brought those things on yourself, but you're in a position where someone else would want to be. So, pull your socks up, smile, and get the fuck on with it.
I love it, mate. And thank you so much for coming and dropping some value on it today, mate. And I just want to say, like, keep sending it on every level.
Keep sending it, mate.
You're like you're the most down to earth, like, fitness guy, like, in the world, mate. And go and follow, like, all the links to Josh's stuff is below this podcast. Go and follow him on the social medias too. And guys, I appreciate you listening to this conversation and any of my conversations, and I hope it's added some value to how you can leverage some of these cold DM systems and other stuff like that, and put it in your business and start making some cash. There's no excuses as to why this next 12 months can't look totally different from the 12 months that you've previously lived. So make sure you send it on every level and listen to this podcast religiously, because it will take you to a whole different ball game. Much love. Guys, do me a solid favor. Drop a comment below this video and let us know who you want on the podcast next.